In terms of the restrictions around the UK, we thought it was important to give an early update to the public. As we had announced, 20 samples from persons who returned to the island from the UK on December 28 were positive, and that those samples would be sent to CARFA for further evaluation. The ministry can now confirm that 4 positive samples are of the new strain, the variant strain, which led to the restrictions in the first place.
Hi again and welcome. This is Links 007 TV. Let's talk. The Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has confirmed that 4 of the 20 passengers that recently arrived in the island from the United Kingdom on December 21st, 2020 have tested positive for the new strain of the COVID-19. When we return, we'll have the exclusive details of this to come on the program. We ask you, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell and click on all so you're always in tune whenever time we post new videos. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back and thanks for joining us for the program. This is Links 007 TV. Let's talk. What a year it has been, the year 2020, as it relates to the COVID virus and how it has swept the world by storm. We have seen major developments and major restriction as it relates to this that countries have to undertake in order to protect the lives of millions of people right across the world. And so too is the local authorities in Jamaica, as they have initiated certain measures just in order to curtail the spread of the virus, which is steadily increasing day by day. Now, the United Kingdom has its fair share of the rise in the pandemic of the virus itself, and now Jamaica is actually reporting that they have 4 strain of the new COVID virus. Now we're going to go over to a report from the Minister of Health himself, Dr. Christopher Tufton, as he provided an update in relation to this. So let's go over to that right now on Links 007 TV. Let's talk.
In terms of the restrictions around the UK, we thought it was important to give an early update to the public. As we had announced, 20 samples from persons who returned to the island from the UK on December 28 were positive, and that those samples would be sent to CARFA for further evaluation. The ministry can now confirm that 4 positive samples are of the new strain, the variant strain, which led to the restrictions in the first place. So those were tested. The Public Health Agency of the region, CARFA, got the samples, and 4 so far have been confirmed positive of the new strain. Of the samples submitted to CARFA, 6 met the criteria for genetic sequencing based on the viral load contained in the sample, and from those, 4 were found to be the variant strain. Again, the Chief Medical Officer and the other technical members can elaborate more on that. It is to be noted, however, that through the actions of the government following on the recommendations from Public Health, that we were able to quarantine and test those passengers on the UK flight. I believe that was reported. As a result, the 20 positive cases were isolated in a government-approved facility, and based on home assessment completed, some were allowed to isolate at home. As at today, the report is that they all remain stable and are asymptomatic. Those who returned a negative result were fitted with monitoring armbands and transferred to home quarantine. The reports from the health department have indicated that as of today, they all remain asymptomatic. Barring the development of any symptoms over the next 3 days, those in isolation will be deemed as recovered, and the intention is to release those individuals. The persons in home quarantine will be also released by the parish health authorities. As it relates to this strain of COVID-19, I want to say to the public that there is no evidence to confirm that the strain causes a more severe illness or affects the efficacy of the current approved vaccine, the key is to follow the advice of the public health authority. That is worth repeating. We are monitoring what is happening in the UK, in other jurisdictions. The technical team continuously gets updates. They examine the information that comes out of those jurisdictions. They continuously keep in touch with the World Health Organization and PAHO. And as of now, as said earlier, there's no evidence to confirm that this makes you more ill or it affects the initiatives that are now in progress towards having a vaccine. And that's positive. That's a positive piece of information. However, we cannot be complacent. We have to ensure that we abide by and observe these protocols that have been established and we talk about every day. Based on this evaluation and in consultation with the Prime Minister, who I spoke to at length today, and the Cabinet, or members of the Cabinet, an extension of the travel restriction has been issued, as was announced, to January 31st, 2021. This is, of course, read the UK. This is in an effort to provide the public health with an opportunity to gather more information on the implications of this new strain, as well as to assess the country's capacity to treat with the challenges that may arise. So we are monitoring, we are learning as we go along. To date, the evidence is not so damning that one should feel more threatened, except, of course, that it spreads more rapidly. And we will have to continue to learn as we go along, because as we have said, this is a novel virus, it's new, and the world is learning as it goes along. But one thing we can reassure the public with is that if you follow the protocols, then you are also providing some protection to yourself. We cannot underscore, therefore, enough the importance of members of the public adhering to these protocols that they have been put in place to reduce the spread of the virus. Jamaica, finally, remains in community transmission. And of course, that means that the virus is everywhere. And so one cannot take anything for granted. Every Jamaican has a responsibility to cooperate with the government, to take personal responsibility to protect themselves, their loved ones, their communities, and the country by observing all the infection prevention and control protocols, including the physical distancing of 6 feet, staying at home and avoiding crowds unless you have to go out, frequently washing and sanitizing hands and cleaning up surfaces, wearing of masks, very important. I want to thank those who have responded to the Mask Up Before You Talk Up campaign, obeying quarantine and isolation orders as given by the public health authorities, and adhering to the provisions under the Disaster Risk Management Act. It is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that those protocols are observed. As we confront 2021, there's still a lot of work to be done, but I think that we have learned a lot from 2020, and I think the team is ready to take on the challenge until we can come to a resolution. At this time, I'm going to invite the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa-McKenzie, to provide.
Well, there you have it. That was the Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, providing the nation with an update in relation to the spread of the COVID virus, especially in relation to the new strain. 4 of those 20 people that tested recently are in contact with the new strain of the virus. Well, the government is thus trying to initiate certain measures just in order to curtail the spread of the virus in the country, and they have so far introduced a number of restrictive measures, especially such as curfew and actually having more police on the road in order to enforce this. But as the minister said, it is not been confirmed whether this new strain of the virus is more deadly or it's more serious than the actual strain that is out there. But all I can say that people just need to just take this proactive approach and just try their very best in order to protect themselves, because we've seen the devastation that this has caused worldwide, and a small country such as Jamaica cannot really bear the burden of what's to come if this was to get more difficult in the country to deal with. So we just have to just adhere to these regulations and try our best to follow these protocols outlined by the government. But it's very sad to see what is going on in the world. And the year 2020, we saw what that caused right across the world, and now we are in the year 2021, which we're moving forward. However, it's like we're still in 2020 based on the development that came out of last year leading into this year. However, we now have a vaccine. We're not sure how effective that vaccine will be against a new strain of the virus and even the current virus itself. However, we'll try our very best to provide you with the latest update in relation to this. You can just drop it in the comment section though if you have anything to say in relation to this report. This has been Links 007 TV. Let's talk. Peace out, much respect, and much love goes out to you, and have a blessed and prosperous 2021.